Hey everyone, and welcome back to Blizzard Beach Sicily edition. We are building a water park in the style of a Blizzard Beach from Orlando, Walt Disney World. In case you don't know, that is a water park themed after a snowy landscape, you know, with a lot of Alpine style builds and so on. If you're interested, you can always find a lot of pictures online. But this is going to be the Sicily edition. There are a couple of reasons to why this is the Sicily edition. So before we talk about what we are going to do today in this video, which is quite a lot, I'm going to give you a brief context. So the reason is relatively, well, it is pragmatic, okay? So we don't have snow in the game yet, so I had to find a way to work around that, which I found with some simple art shapes. It kind of works, you know. But also, the second one is, I didn't find a suitable map other than the Mediterranean one over here, which is a great map, to be honest, but the mountain map, I don't know, it just like felt too obvious, and Florida, as it being a bit more, you know, I don't want to say temperate, it's not temperate, you know. It would technically be Mediterranean, but it's not, like, it's the same kind of, well, you know, it's not the same. It's kind of tropical grassland in between, and we don't have that map yet, so I couldn't go for Florida. But another pragmatic reason is I didn't want to build this one by one. I didn't want to do a recreation as of now. We will be doing a recreation, and you all know what this is going to be. For those of you who don't know me, you should check my channel, then you will exactly know what kind of recreation we do. But we have to wait for the load and unload station function before we can do this. But yeah, it's the time now to go to the comments and tell me what I'm going to do. I'm very curious to see if you guys can figure that out, but it's a very obvious choice that we are going to do. So yeah, that's the context to why we are doing what we are doing over here, and yeah, I'm very curious to see what you guys say about today's episode, because we made a huge step forward. Most of this has been done on stream this time around, and that has been a rather productive stream. So maybe you've been around, maybe not, but in any case, if you're still listening to this video at this point in time, you may want to consider subscribing if you haven't already, because then you won't miss out on future episodes and future videos. There's a lot more planned with Planet Coaster 2, but also Planet Zoo will make a return soon, and I also can't wait for Enjoy to be back, you know. I mean, we know that this will be a bit later than expected, but still, I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm also building on a City Skylines 2 series in the background, but that will also take a while until the second born baby is actually, you know, at home and everything works fine. Then I'll be back at City Skylines 2 as well. There is a thing I'm building on for weeks already, so it's not like that I don't have anything, but I want to ensure that it's good and ready to be released. Anyways, let's talk about today's build. So in the last episode, we set the scene. We made sure that this is kind of working, the Alpine theme kind of works, and the scenery pieces we have at hand do work, and all these kind of things. And with the knowledge that Frontier is working on pools and on, you know, slides, I felt like, okay, this is the spot to be now. This is what we want to do. And I continued putting in some slides. So what I wanted to achieve with today's episode is to continue the style we've started with, and also at the same time to figure out if everything we do kind of works out with the mountain I have built. And I wanted to work a lot of the forced perspective on the forced perspective, in case you don't know what that is. So in order to make things appear bigger than they really are, theme parks in general, but like also water parks like that or so, they have a certain trick to make elements that are higher up anywhere. It actually doesn't matter. It starts already in normal buildings you're standing in front. They tend to make the items on a higher level smaller, accordingly to the distance you are looking at them. Now, imagine you're standing on a Main Street USA in Disneyland and you're looking at the buildings. They appear bigger than they are because the lower floor is almost like the size you would expect it to be, you know, typical like 2 meters door frame, and then like a, I don't know, 250 level of the first on the ground level. And then if you go to the second floor, usually the second floor would be 2 meters and 52, but in Disneyland or so, it's like 1 meter 80 or 1.9 meters or something like that. And the windows and everything else is accordingly smaller, because if you're standing on a lower point, you can't really tell that it is smaller, but your brain will tell you the building is bigger instead. So the brain will actually think something is different and will say, yes, there is something wrong, but your brain is not telling you that the window is smaller, it's telling you the building is bigger. And that's what we're doing over here today with the With the mountain, we are building something rather huge to the bottom part, and we're going to take the same thing and put this on top of the hill, but we make this way smaller, so to really shift the perspective a little bit, and that works beautifully. Also, I may want to say thanks to the comments, because there were a couple of suggestions about this very trick, that we should use it. I mean, I had this in mind anyways, but specifically the lift we will put in here. I just can't find the name I was trying to think of. The cable car, that's the one I was looking for, is a trick that we are using. So the cable car station we will have up the hill is going to be very tiny in comparison to the one below, and so it seems almost like that it's becoming smaller and smaller uphill. So I also tried to make the pool a bit deeper in the center, but it just didn't work. So this will be a little bit of a splash zone pool rather than something else. And yeah, you can see we've been very busy putting in a couple of things. I've been fixing some of the pool areas here because they will become more important. And this is exactly the cable car I was thinking about and talking about. This was planned already in the last episode. So if you have seen that, you know that I've been trying to put that in already. But I ended up not doing this because I couldn't find the right spot. But this is actually the very spot we are using it. But at some point I figured, okay, we need to raise the station down here too in order to make people walk underneath the station as well. I was fixing some of the queue lines over here, even though that is all not final, okay? So we are going to still do a little extra with this. So that's going to be very nice and very cool, because I really figure that this park... Actually, it was like a fun little experiment when I started it, but at the end of the day, I'm really positively surprised to how well that works, and the theme works very well indeed. So I'm very, very lucky to be able to do this, and I'm very lucky that this is working out the way it is right now. And this is the very building I was talking about. It is inspired by a building in one of my favorite towns of all time, and this is Oberstdorf in Bavaria. I may just quickly add the story. It's like one of the bigger, like, it's not a hotel, it's like, how you call that, it's a pension. I'm not sure how that's called in English. It's like a guest house. I think that's what it would translate to the best. And Oberstdorf is very close to my heart because I've been there for almost... okay, maybe already 20 times by now. Not quite, it's like 18 times or so. This is where I learned to ski. This is where I got used to a lot of snow. The region I'm living in, unfortunately doesn't receive that much snow anymore. I should add that I really like snow, but our region really just very rarely sees snow anymore, like with climate change anyways, but even before, in the 90s, it wasn't so common. So at some point, my family decided we should go for skiing, and since my mom has already been to Oberstdorf when she was young, we went there, and yeah, it's like being in love the first second. And I genuinely love this place so much because everything over there is just perfect for me personally. Like, you have a lot of very typical Bavarian style like things, architecture wise and so on, but it's also very modern. You have like ski jumping arenas, you have one of the biggest ski flying arenas, and you also have a very modern ski run, like running range and so on. It's a very good Alpine area, but you're also very quickly gone to Austria. Like, it's just a couple minutes drive, and then you're in the midst of Austria. It's not like the best region for snow anymore. It used to be 20 years ago, but it's not anymore. So the last couple times we've been there also was very difficult. Let's put it that way. We've been there in the most different times. We've been there end of year. We've been there February, March. It doesn't matter. It's not really that easy to have good snow anymore. But overall, I'm so in love because the vibe over there is just absolutely ace. And I got inspired by this because for me personally, this Blizzard Beach should definitely be Alpine inspired by like the European Alps. That's definitely what I want to inspire it by, and this is where you do have most of these things that Blizzard Beach also comes with, like the ski jumping arena. Even though the style in Blizzard Beach, which makes a lot of sense, is kind of Americanified, you know, if that makes sense. It's definitely like a more Alpine inspired by all the maybe Rocky Mountains or so, but I wanted to give it this kind of European spin and make it really like how a Bavarian guest house is over here. And we're going to use this guest house as being a shop front for some food shops and swimming, like the inflatables you can get there, and pool passes and so on. And we're gonna have like restrooms in the back as well, which I should definitely tell that this building itself is way bigger than it needs to be. But as I said, the reason for that is actually just found in the reason that I needed to have a building that has a lot of potential to work together with my idea of force perspective. And since I needed to make this bigger, it just came across me that we are going to cross into one of the slide paths. And honestly, I took this chance, and we're going to make the slide actually crank through this building, which is hopefully going to be a fun experience for the riders, but also looks kind of funny. So the slide goes actually through the roof of this building, which I found good. Like, this is typically what Disney also does a lot. I remember Goofy's Barnyard Storm, or how that was called. Forgot the name exactly, but where that's that kind of a kiddie coaster styled after Goofy flying in a plane, and he's like crashing through a barn. And there's also that one part where you're flying through the roof of a barn, or can't really remember. I've been there. I've been 8 years old. Okay, so don't quote me on that. I remember going through a house with that thing. I said Barnyard Storm or something like that. I haven't looked that up in decades. I don't know, and that's even not a lie. Also, what I wanted to quickly talk about is the choice of materials I took over here for the building. Is obviously, I'm using pieces from all the different themes, but I've seen so many people being so negative about the themes in game, and I literally can't understand why. So this game obviously has a lot of problems and issues, and you know that I've been vocal about this, except, this game also has a lot of positives. But if we focus on the problems, the themes ain't one of them. Like, the themes in this game are great, and I want to really take the moment to talk about them while you see me finishing up this building from the outside a little. See, the point is, I can understand so many things that people say we are missing out some rides that have been in the first game, and we are missing out on some functions we had in the first game, and I totally get it, and I absolutely agree with that. What I don't agree with is the fact that we should have had the same themes. I mean, see, the point is, this is a new game, and wouldn't it be super boring to go in with the exact same themes? By the way, just quickly jumping in, this is how I made the force perspective. I scaled down the building significantly, as you can see over here. Therefore, I needed to get rid of the grid pieces within that, but the grid pieces were just used for building efficiency anyways. They don't play a role in the style, so that didn't matter. And then I built the lower part of the building as a typical foundation. This is what you do see quite a lot in these Alpine regions, that these buildings are built to the side of a mountain, and then you have a huge concrete / stone foundation in which you have maybe garage or some other storage rooms, or eventually a lift hill going up. Anyhows, back to the themes. And these new themes obviously bring in a new area, a new theme, and just a new way of creating the game. And it would have been super boring if they just went for the classic themes, because that's the same thing all over again, and it's almost like really have your food put back in the microwave and make it warm again. That's just not how you do that. And this has never been an issue for me, not from the first second. But what would have been an issue is if the pieces were way too much styled after that one theme. That indeed would have been a problem. However, this is not the case. Frontier has been improving, and I have to be a bit more careful how I choose the words over here, because it's a rather interesting topic to talk about anyways. But Frontier has done a lot of weird decisions in this game. A lot of weird decisions. But there is also something they learned over time with Planet Zoo. I remember the first couple of Planet Zoo themes, specifically the Arctic theme from the very first DLC, they were catastrophic, because these pieces were awfully themed. No, they were themed in a great way, but the reason is that if you theme them such a great way, you can literally only use them for that theme you're theming them after. And that was an Arctic / Viking kind of style, and you couldn't do anything else with them. They were in flexicolor. They only had that one wooden pattern on it, and just in that wooden brown, and there were no chances to change it, and a lot of bigger pieces that were all styled with the exact hooks and so on. And that was like, it created a bit of a backlash, because the community was like, yeah, okay, well, but what do we do with them else than building exactly the building you thought we should? And that's not what people want to do. You know, the big success of Minecraft and Lego and so on comes from the fact that you can virtually do anything and you're not forced into one specific theme. And over the time, Frontier has been improving upon that, and even like they nailed now, and they did this with this game, with all the knowledge, all the stuff they learned, they embedded in this game. They have a super themed area where you can build exactly, like in this game, for example, you can build the bestest Viking stuff ever out of the pieces, because it really is meant to be looking like that. But at the same time, the individual pieces are so loosely themed and so nice that you can virtually do anything else with them. And that's not a normal given thing. They have really learned that over the time. They have really taken into account our feedback, and this game really shows that. I really can't complain about the pieces. Yes, there may be a couple of pieces that are not as great, but the vast majority of pieces is super versatile and super great. If only we had glass, you know? But see, this is really positive of this game, and I wouldn't want to say anything negative about this, because, like, I'm also working on something very sci-fi, and you'll see that sci-fi also works without any problem. So yeah, I can't really tell anything negative. Anyhows, let's talk about something really positive here, really positive, and that is the interior of this slide area. This is gonna be very interesting, because oh my god, that was a fiddly thing to do. Is that even a word in English? Anyways, it was kind of weird to do. I needed to clean up a couple of things here and there and just make sure that the interior looks good. I mean, oh gosh, just look at the graphics while building. I love that so much. The global illumination specifically for indoors just makes building indoors so cool. And I think it also enforces you and encourages you to build more indoors, and this is why I also do this over here, and we may have more indoor sections in this as well. I also wanted to make sure that the walls and so on are not too tight, but also not too far away from the slide itself, to not make people crank their hands or arms by keeping them out and then just crashing into the wall. That wouldn't be too good. But also at the same time, making sure it has kind of a cool vibe to it. Really like that. I really like that, how that turned out. The only little downside I have over here is that some of the items in there, like the lamps, you can't make them work daytime, which is so odd. Like, they automatically turn on when it's dark, but like you can't control them. This is another one of these little features they have taken out of the game, which makes absolutely no sense that they did, and I'm very sorry for that. But yeah, well, there's anything I can do about this. It is out at the moment, and as soon as I can, I will automatically turn them on, so that once you pass through this house, you have these lights go. I mean, we could trigger them. That's potentially the way they envisioned this to be, so that you need to put down a sequencer in and then say, you know, keep them on a constant on. I think this could technically work, but that would be a very complicated workaround to be completely honest. But yeah, so over here I wanted to make like a bit of a Bavarian styled seating area, as you can see, using that kind of blue-white Bavarian, typical Bavarian color theme, and then putting in a little planter here to cover up these edges. So because at the moment barriers and curbs and stuff don't work, I use this little trick of making sure that the two pathways are separated by this, well, actually ugly little yeah, what's that, edge in between, but it fulfills the job, you know. It does what it does. It gives us the chance to separate those two areas from each other. Putting a couple of like rings in here to pretend that this is a pool area, inflatables here and there, and then just making sure to find in some colors, mixing in some blue and white ones as well to fit the theme. And then I just scaled down one of the pine trees, like very small, making sure that we have some or spruce tree is that in this sense, to make a bit more of a Bavarian Alpine style. And I mean, they could easily grow here in Sicily. It might be a bit too warm for them, but I think they would withstand that easily. So just kind of makes sense to have them here. And then also using our little snow pattern from the art shape pieces. And I'm very happy with how that turned out, but this is the moment where I'm gonna hand you over into the real-time part to have a look how far this park got and what is going to happen in the next episode. So here you go with real-time Rudy. Alright, here we are in the real-time part, and while there's a ride operator just walking straight past us, this is how it looks in-game, and oh boy, am I loving it. Am I loving it, guys. This is so cool. There we've got our ski jumping arena. We still need to do something about this right-hand side. I figured what could be really cool is some of these very modern kind of wind-catching fences. Like, this is what modern ski jumping arenas do have more often than not. It's like a huge kind of wind fence. It's almost like, it's not a fence, it's like huge kind of sails almost like, and we do have these really cool fabric pieces in game that could act like this. I think that would be a fun thing to do. But yeah, just focusing on this area here, you can really tell how nice that looks, and I can't wait to have this lift in action. Because, I mean, it does also fulfill a purpose, you know, it's not like just for the theme. It'll bring people up to the highest slide over there, which is the star of the show. So it also kind of makes sense, and I envision, like, if this is a kind of operating thing, people would have a little fun thing to go in here and just go up there instead of always walking to get the slide. And also, now this section over here makes a lot more sense. We have this fence over here, so this is kind of a little recreational area. I will turn this little spot over here into a bit of a more recreational corner so people can get their seats there and have a bit of a kids area. We're gonna make this entire pool a bit more different so that this is becoming a bit of a kids splash area in general. This is my idea, which also makes sense because you're coming just in and this is like a proper area for the kids. We have like a little Ferris wheel thingy here. Everything will be styled accordingly. I'm just gonna go up this little hill so you can see how the backside looks a little bit here. Still need to do a little cover-ups here and there, you know, a bit of these corners are not finished, but I think the main idea is translated. We're gonna stick a planter in this little nubby there. I don't know, it just doesn't matter. We've got our tables here. We will need to put a couple of details on the tables too. But I feel like if you look at this house, we still, yeah, she's not a big fan of this snow peeking through here. I need to cover that up by just making sure that I take this, you know what, I think let's have a look. You know, we're gonna do this hands-on here. I feel like the roof is still one piece, so I think what I should be able to do is I'm just gonna scale this down a little. There you go, and I'm gonna push this forward. Here we go, and I could also lower that down even more and bring this to this side. It looks like a bit of a double trouble here, but I feel like this. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. I thought that was a good idea. It's not. But hey, if that is a thing, we should be able to just... Oh, well, hold on. Okay, this is too much. I just need these. So let's have a look if that works. Okay, well, that does work. And I'm going to get rid of the selection of the front pieces here because we don't need these. But I feel almost like this should be enough to push all of that in. And just like a tad bit higher. That should cover it up enough. I'm gonna do this just on one side. It's a little bit of a tricky thing because it'll create a bit of a difference on both sides. But I'm gonna keep this to the one side. Also get rid of the Z fighting here. Yeah, that makes it better. That makes it definitely better. I mean, we don't have snow on this side. It just doesn't feel bad. Okay, awesome. Anyways, this was just like a little fix we did. And I'm gonna fly over. I mean, we are in this camera anyway, so you can see the whole thing from above. I do feel a lot more confident about the size of this park now. We're gonna theme up the entrance a bit more nicely, and we're gonna leave it that big and loose. We could potentially create our street and like a parking lot over here if we want to, but I'm very confident about the size. We will have a bit of a lazy river area here to the right hand side, and this is becoming a bit more of a play area for kids. And the only thing I will add in here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the central like river type. I think I'm gonna keep it this way with an end part here, but we will also have a deeper pool on this side. This is gonna be something for the adults more, and my idea is that the adults then could use that one, and once they fancy going for the extreme ride, they can just take the lift up there. Also, you can see we have like a little kiddie coaster over here. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a POV, nothing crazy. This is going to be just like a fun little kiddie ride that we will have in the park. You know, just for the sake of having some fun for the kids. It's like a little mine train that goes around. I'm gonna theme this after Snow Blizzard because that's the Blizzard Beach. This will be our like Blizzard train, and we're gonna go through some snow effects. Yeah, we're gonna go through some trees first of all, but you get the idea. That's gonna be the Blizzard Peak, where we will have some snow effects going on here. I think that will be a fun little kid ride, and we will have some snow effects. And yeah, I'm gonna make our way tightly around this wonderful rock over here going down. It will be very, 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 very easy going because that's a kid's ride. Okay, we don't want to have it too crazy. This may over here be the craziest airtime hill, if you even could consider calling it this. Where we have a bit of a faster helix going down here, gather some speed, making sure that the kids have a bit of a nice kick in, and then go over here already back into the station. It's just gonna meander through here very simply and easily. You can see there's nothing crazy about that one. We're gonna put like a little block section in here too, because otherwise the second train will wait forever. It should actually go already at this point. Okay, it does. Now just to follow that up, it's gonna be very simple. You know, the Blizzard Peak. I like the train light over here, that it does cast some light still in here. Gonna do some little smoothing jobs here and there as well. But this is the idea about this little Blizzard train, which is gonna be a part of a nicer area here. And then we've got our main pool, which will receive a bit of a nicer area styling around here anyway. It's gonna make this wall over here nice looking. You can see there's one of the slides coming down. I can't wait to see the actual physics on these. While they're working on the pools, I also do hope that the inflatable at least remains in the pool for a couple more seconds. Really not a big fan of the fact that it is going like this. I wish they would just splash in this pool with the inflatable, and that this one would actually go a bit more in here until it will technically sink in. But this is just like, I mean, look at that. How cool would this be if it now plop goes over here a bit more? And I don't know, that would be lovely. And also, I do like the water effect so much. It looks so good on these slides. I wonder why it looks so bad on the water rides. It's an odd decision. Anyways, I want to end this on a very positive, because look at how this style goes. And from over here, we will be able to go a lot quicker now, because a lot of the styles I wanted to do, I now have found. I really feel confident to go on with this. We want to have some more smaller ones. I want to definitely build a chapel, like a typical Bavarian chapel, either for the dressing rooms over here, or maybe a highlight. Maybe this coaster station will become the chapel. I'm not sure entirely, but it's going to be very fun to do, and I can't wait to show this all to you. So yeah, let me down below in the description. You can let me or just put some, God, my English broken. You can leave me some comments about what you would love to see in this project. Give me some ideas, give me some hints, whatever. Thank you so much as always for watching. And if you guys have not subscribed to the channel as of now, make sure to do so. With a bit of luck, you will be still within the first 100k, because we are so close to going to 100k. I'm so curious. I just want to reach that. So you can actively help me reaching this by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, or double checking if you're still subscribed, because YouTube still does that stupid thing of unsubscribing people. I still don't know why, but whatever. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching as always, guys. And yeah, there's not really that much more to say. Thank you so much for watching. I talk to you in the next one, and goodbye.